Hello students, we will start with marketing environment, basics of marketing, unit number 2. I Dr. Rohan Devale welcome you all. This is the syllabus of marketing, basics of marketing unit number 2, where we are going to study the concept of environment, macro environment and micro environment, various components and characteristics of the environment, needs and trends, major forces impacting the macro environment and micro environment, need for analyzing the market environment, and various environmental factors which are there in macro, that is political, economical, social, technological and legal, that is popularly called as pestle, and demographics of the marketing environment. According to Bloom's taxonomy, the course outcome is understanding. So here we can classify the various components of the marketing environment of a firm and explain the same in detail. So we will start with the definition. This definition was given by Philip Kotler. This definition says that a company's marketing environment consists of the actors and forces outside the marketing that affect marketing segment, marketing management, ability to build and maintain successful relationship with the target customers. Now we will start with the concept. The business environment is a marketing term and refers to factors and forces that affect the firm's ability to build and maintain successful customer relationship. Marketers try to predict the changes which might take place in future by monitoring the marketing environment. These changes may create threats and opportunities for the business. With these changes, marketers continue to modify their strategies and plan. Micro and macro environment have a significant impact on the success of marketing campaign, and therefore the factors of this environment should be considered in depth during the decision making process of strategic marketer. Considering these factors will improve the success of your organization's decision making and marketing campaign and reputation of the brand in long term. Now there are three levels of the environment. First is micro environment, that is also called as internal environment. In this environment there are small forces within the company that affects its ability to serve its customers. Then next is macro environment, that is also called as national or external environment. These are the larger societal forces that affects the micro environment. And lastly, meso environment. Meso environment is not there in your syllabus, but we will just see as it is having a level. Meso environment is the industry in which a company operates and the industry's market, or you may also call it as sector. So in our study, there are micro environment and macro environment to study. Now we will learn what are various characteristics of the environment. Today's marketing environment is characterized by the numerous features which are mentioned as below. First is your marketing environment is a specific and having general forces. It refers to different forces that affect the marketing environment. Specific forces include those forces which directly affect the activities of the organization. Examples of specific forces are customers and investors. General forces are those forces which indirectly affect the organization. Examples of general forces are social, political, legal, technological factors. Next come the characteristics which is called as complex. So environment is specific and as well as environment is complex in nature. This complex characteristics implies that marketing environment include number of factors, conditions and influences. The interaction among all these elements make the marketing environment complex in nature. Next is vibrancy. That is environment is vibrant in nature. Vibrancy implies the dynamic nature of the marketing environment. Dynamic means environment is constantly changing. A large number of forces outline the marketing environment which does not remain stable and changes over the time. Marketers may have the ability to control some of the forces. However, they fail to control all the forces. However, understanding the vibrant nature of marketing environment may give an opportunity to marketers to gain edge over the competition. Next characteristics is environment is very uncertain in nature. Uncertainty. It implies that market forces are unpredictable in nature. Every marketer tries to predict market forces to make strategies and update their plans. It may be different to predict some of the changes which occur frequently. For example, customer tested for clothes changes frequently. Thus, fashion industry suffers lot of uncertainty in demand. The fashion may live for few days or maybe for few years. Last characteristics of the environment is relativity. Relativity explains the reasons for differences in demand in different countries. The product demand by or of any particular industry, organization, or product may vary depending on the country, region, or culture of that particular country. For example, saris are traditional dress for women in India, thus it always be in demand. However, in the Western country, demand for sari may be zero or relatively very less. So these are various characteristics of marketing environment. What is marketing environment characteristics? It is very specific, it is complex in nature, it is vibrant, it is uncertain, and it have relativity. Next is why we are going to study this marketing environment. What is need to analyze the marketing environment? So, need for analyzing the marketing environment. Environmental scanning is one of the essential components of the global environmental analysis. It is analysis of macro and micro environment of the company. The factors which need to consider for environmental scanning are events, trends, issues and expectations of the different interest groups. Issues are often forerunners of trend breaks. Environmental scanning is an ongoing process, and organizations are always refining the way which particular company or business goes through the process. Environmental scanning reinforces productive strategic plans and policies that can be implemented to make organization get maximum use of business environment they are in. Environmental scanning helps the businesses find its strength and its current environment, which finds the weakness of the competitors, identifies new markets, potential customers, and coming technological platforms and devices that can be best used to sell the market or product or services. Environmental scanning helps a business to improve their decision making process in the times of risk and external and internal environment the business is acting as. Next is five steps of environmental scanning. How we are going to scan the environment? A common formal environmental scanning process has typically five steps: identification of needs and issues, gathering the information, analyzing all the information, communication of these results obtained in step 3, that is analyzing all the information, then making informed decisions. Now we will see one by one. First is identification of the needs and the issue. Before starting the environmental scanning process, there are several factors that need to be considered while include the purpose of scanning. Who will be participating in the process and amount of time and resources that will be allocated for the duration of scanning process. So that is identified in identification of needs and issues. Next is gathering the information. All the needs of the organization are translated into required piece of information that will be helpful in the process. Third is analyzing all the information. When analyzing the information, organizations are made aware of these trends or issues that organizations may be influenced by. Then next is communication of the results obtained in step 3. The appropriate decision makers analyze the translated information of the potential effects of the organization. All the information is presented in a simple and concise format. Last is making informed decisions. Management creates appropriate steps that will position the organization in the current business environment. So, these are the 5 steps of environmental scanning. Next is we will today finish with this micro environment. So, micro environment is the environment of the organization which consists of those elements which are controllable or easily controllable by the management. So, these are the external forces which may have some control of the management. The micro environment of any company has following components. There are suppliers, there are intermediaries. Intermediaries means wholesalers or retailers. There are competitors, there are customers, and there are public, that is society. So, micro environment consists of these 5 components. So, this is the figure of 5 components of micro environment. Now, we will learn each and every component in detail. First, we will start with suppliers. Suppliers are micro environment component number 1. So, what is the concept? Concept is, according to Michael Porter, the relationship between suppliers and a firm characterizes a power equation between them. This equation is based on the industry conditions and the extent to which each of them is dependent on each other. What is the meaning? The development of suppliers' environment has a substantial impact on the operations of the company. The supplier holds the power when they are when there are only and largest suppliers of their goods. The buyers the buyer is not vital, that is important to the supplier's business. The supplier's product is a core product of buyer's finished product or business. Suppliers are either individuals or they can be business houses. They combine together provide resources that are needed by any organization. Now the company necessarily should go for delivering the specifications, searching for potential suppliers, identifying and analyzing the suppliers, and thereafter choose those suppliers who offer best mix of quality, delivery, reliability, credit, warranties, and obviously low cost. In recent trends, companies can lower their supply cost and increase their product quality. So, this was all about the micro environment component number 1, that is supplier. We will immediately start with intermediaries, that is micro environmental component number 2. What is the concept? Here, marketing intermediaries refers to resellers, physical distribution of firms, marketing services, agencies, and financial intermediaries. There are the people, these are the people that help the company to promote, sell, and distribute its product to the final buyers. What is the meaning? Marketing intermediaries plays an important role. They are integral part of supply chain management of any organization. Products generally flow from manufacturers to customers through these wholesalers and retailers. Physical distribution firms are places such as warehouses that stores and transport the company's products from its original origin to the destination. Now, marketing intermediaries include maybe resellers. Resellers means it purchases the product from the organization and sell to them to the customers. Examples of retailers are wholesalers and retailers. Resellers are wholesalers and retailers. Next are distribution centers. Now, distribution centers helps organization to store the goods. Warehouse is an example of distribution center. Next is marketing agency. Marketing agency promotes the organization products by making the customer aware about the benefits of the product, and advertising agency is an example of marketing agency. Next is financial intermediaries. It provides finance for the organizational transactions, business transactions. Examples of financial intermediaries are various banks, credit organizations, and insurance organizations. The manufacturer has to decide the most effective method of intermediaries to reach the product to the customer that will help to increase the profit. Next environmental factor is competitors. Now, what is the concept of competitor? According to Philip Kotler, the best way for a company to trap the full range of its competition is to take viewpoint of a buyer. What does a buyer think about that, which eventually leads to purchasing something? So, tracing the customer's mindset will help to retain the market share for all the firms. What is the meaning? Competitors are also factor of the microenvironment that include companies with similar offerings for goods and services. To remain competitive, a company must consider who their biggest competitors are while considering its own size and position in the industry. The competitive environment consists of certain basic things which every company has to take note of. The company, however large, may be enjoys monopoly. In the original business world, the company encounters various forms of competition. The most common competition which companies' products now faces is from differentiated products of their other companies. For example, in the color television market, Sony TV faces competition from the other companies like LG, Samsung, Redmi, and so on. So this is about competitors. Next are important, that is micro environment component number 4, customers. According to Peter F. Drucker, there is only one valid definition of business purpose, that is to create customer. The business enterprises aim to earn profit through serving their customer demands. It now thinks more in terms of profitable sales rather than more sale volume for just the sake. Today, marketing of a firm begins and ends with the customer. So it begins with the customer and it ends with the customer. The business enterprises, just I told you that. So, what is the meaning? Nowadays, the business firms to be successful must find the customers for their products. This is the reason the customers thus constitute the most important element in the microenvironmental type of businesses. Product sales depend mainly on degree of customer satisfaction. From the company's point of view, it is always better to have customer from various groups and regions for that easily sustain demand for the company's product. There are different type of customer market including consumer market, business market, government market, reseller market, and international market that we have seen in unit number 1. Last environmental factor, that is micro environmental factor, is public or society. According to Philip Kotler, companies must put their primary energy into effectively managing their relationship with their customers, distributors, and suppliers. Their overall success will be affected by how other public in the society view their activity. Companies would be wise to spend time monitoring all the public, understanding their needs and opinions, and dealing with them constructively and continuously. What is the meaning? The final aspect of the microenvironment is public. which is any group that has an interest in the effect of the organizational ability to meet its goals. Organization has a duty to satisfy the public. Any action of the company must be considered from the angle of the general public and how they are affected. The public has power to help customers or companies to reach their final goals, just as they can also prevent companies for achieving them. For example, financial publics can hinder a company's ability to obtain funds, affecting the level of credit a company has. Media public include newspapers and magazines that can publish articles of interest regarding the company and editorial that may influence the customer's opinion. So this was about the micro environment. Now, in the next lecture, we will start with macro environment. Macro environment definition. Then there are economic, socio-cultural, demographic, political, legal, regulatory, technical, and environmental. These are various elements of micro environment, macro environment that we will learn one by one. And after that, unit number two will also complete. So this was all about today's lecture. I hope you have understood the lecture.